Coach, your thoughts on the game, and what did you tell the team when you went back to the locker room afterwards?
Just had to talk about a lot of things. We prepared all week. I can say there wasn't one thing that happened out there that we didn't prepare and practice the last 3 days for. Um, we talked about it before. I think their physicality, their aggressiveness, really hurt us, and we couldn't use our strength inside. Guys couldn't post up. They got pushed off their box every time. Resulted in guys trying to go one-on-one, taking quick shots, and then quick shots usually lead to bad transition defense. And even though you practice it a lot, it's hard to get back in transition when you take tough, quick shots.
So much of the talk about St. Louis coming in this game was about their offense, what a great offense they were. But defensively, especially in that answer that they gave in the second half and when they kept you from making shots for a long stretch there, what did they do?
Yeah, I don't think it was the scheming. I think it was the physicality. They were up in us. They pushed us. They dictated, our bigs where they wanted our bigs to catch the ball. Our bigs couldn't post up. Our guards, they got under us and used their physicality. I thought the difference maker was Deion Brown, 15 rebounds, Boston College transfer. And, he pretty much punked everyone he guarded 1 through 5. And his physicality just set a tone for the whole game. Whoever he guarded, it was a nightmare for, and he gets 15 rebounds at 6'2". And so, scheming is great. Toughness usually trumps scheming, and their physicality on the defensive end, is what really hurt us.
Coach, the Youngstown State loss, you talked about toughness. You thought they were a little maybe tougher than you guys. You guys went to work. This one you're saying, toughness and physicality. Surprised that it was that lopsided?
We talked about this a couple games ago. So, it's not something that just goes away. It's something that's going to take time to maybe correct or, the last couple of years we've had the toughest team every time usually we walk on the court. And so, we're going to have to look at this team a little bit differently and see how we can improve our toughness, but you also maybe, expect some different things than maybe we expected in the past from some GCU teams, for these guys. But at the end of the day, again, schemes are great, but, we got to be more physical. We got to guard our yard. We got to hold our line. We got to protect the rim better. We got to be quicker to the ball. It seemed like they had 2 guys quicker to the ball all night tonight, and we just weren't fast enough to go get loose balls.
They're so big in their transition offense. They get up so quickly. That point where you got the margin down to 2 and they called timeout, they come out, and it was those quick scores, it seemed like, where they find the first shot, the open 3 immediately, or they get the transition. They end up with 30 fast break points.
Yeah, again, I think we'll go back and we can look. 80% of those are probably going to be turnovers for us, 50-50 balls that they got that we just couldn't get. Or a bad quick shot that a guy would come out of the game after he shot it that allowed them to get out into transition. And so when we got back to the half court, the reason why we got those runs is when we were able to take good shots, work the ball side to side like we talked every single huddle in there, to go side to side. Then it allows us to take good shots, to rebound, and to get back in transition. But once we broke script into the first half. We cut it to 5, and we broke script twice, and it was a 9-point game in 40 seconds. We can't break the script. We got to execute what we talk every huddle and what we talk in practice.
Coach, you mentioned that, this team is different from that toughness standpoint than maybe the other teams you've had. I know you keep working on that because you want a tough team, but you said maybe we change some things. I mean, are there some things you're thinking in your brain, hey, maybe we kind of retool some lineups, retool some playing? How would you change that?
Yeah, I think all of the above. We've had the luxury the last 5 years in our program to return our best players pretty much the last 4 years. And they've known our system. They've known our toughness. They know what to expect. And they had a winning desire. Right now we got a lot of guys that are searching, a lot of guys that are trying to figure it out, a lot that are second guessing, a lot that get broken really fastly if something doesn't go in their way in their game. And so those are all things that we gotta build pretty much from square one to build those things up. With these guys, this is the roster. We have some very talented players. Now it's up for them collectively coming together, trusting each other, and holding each other accountable. That we don't let one bad shot or one turnover lead to 2 and 3.
You knew we were kind of up against it when F.A. Demerol wasn't able to get here till middle August. Is that learning curve, now that you see in live time, been even greater than expected?
Yeah, it definitely hurt, but it's not an excuse. He's got to be better. He can't be the biggest guy on the court and weigh the most and not be able to get a deep spot on the floor and be able to make a layup. And he's got to be way more impactful than that. He's got to be way more physical than that. And if he's going to play, he's got to be a presence down there. And tonight he wasn't a presence at all in his 5 minute 30 seconds.
Hey, Coach, thanks for the time. We'll see you back in Phoenix on Friday night.
Thanks, those fans.